Today I thought I'd jump the tracks a little. Now I'm always on here talking to you about communication, and there's a good reason for that. Here at the Colin James Method, communication is what we are absolute experts at, and we pride ourselves on being world class in helping all of our clients become amazing communicators. Today I thought I'd talk about the economy. Now, why am I doing that? Well, at the moment, as I'm filming this, a very, very hot topic of economic discussion throughout the world is tariffs. And this has been brought about by the US administration's current imposition of tariffs on a great number of imported goods heading into the United States. This is having impact across the entire economy of the world. And you might be thinking, okay, so what's that got to do with communication, the Colin James Method? Why would you discuss that? Well, I'm no interested in getting political, but I am fascinated with economics. And before I worked with the Colin James Method, I had a 27-year career in the banking and finance industry, which I really enjoyed. Now, when you're dealing with your clients, your suppliers, your stakeholders, this is an issue that is impacting literally everyone because of the wide-ranging spread of tariffs. And wouldn't you like to know how they work? So when people are talking about it and discussing it, you have a little bit of insight into what a tariff is and what it's supposed to do and how it applies. So I thought I'd share that with you today. Can I say this? It's actually not that complicated. How does a tariff work on imports? Very, very simple. So let's say, for example, I am the United States and I decide to place a unilateral 10% import tariff on all goods being imported to the United States from Australia. What happens is the tariff, the 10%, is charged over and above the price that the Australian supplier charges. The US government charges that 10% as an additional fee, and they charge it to the person importing the good. So me, the US citizen, I pay 10% extra above the price set by the supplier who is exporting it from overseas. In other words, Paul, are you telling me that the US government is charging its own citizens 10% extra when they import goods from overseas from Australia? Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. That's how tariffs work. There's a common misconception that the tariff is charged to the other country. No, it's not. The government, the administration is charging their own citizens the 10% extra. So you might say, well, what's the big deal then? Why would the Australian government potentially get up in arms about the tariff? Well, the issue is, what the tariff is designed to do is to make it a little less cost effective to purchase goods in the US from countries that are manufactured overseas. The idea being it will stimulate growth and output in the local economy, local production of goods and local manufacturing. If I have to pay 10% extra for something that was imported from overseas, well, maybe I'll buy local. That's the philosophy behind it. And the idea being it will raise a little bit of revenue for the government as well and hopefully stimulate jobs and growth in the United States. That's the philosophy behind it. The challenge with this is it causes prices to rise because all those imported goods will now be 10% more expensive. And so when the importer pays that, they will pass that on to the retailer selling them at the shop, which means the prices will go up. So it can cause inflation. The other challenge too is many goods, and let me use motor vehicles as an example. A lot of components of motor vehicles, the assembly line plant might be in the United States, but many of the components for that car may be manufactured and in fact are manufactured in countries like China. So each one of those components will attract a 10% import tariff, which will ultimately increase the cost of building the car, which may not make it as cost effective to manufacture in the United States as the broad brush thinking about tariffs might indicate. Now let's bring this back to communication principles. We at the Colin James Method strongly advocate that you must know and research your audience before you speak to them. When I say audience, it could be one person, it could be many people, it could be a large group at a town hall. If your supplier, your stakeholder, your client is impacted by this sort of thing, you now have a little bit of knowledge to allow you to talk intelligently about the subject and understand a little bit more about some of the challenges they might be going through in navigating the changes to the global economy that we're seeing. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing you in our next communication discussion.